Your secret is not safe with me, myself, and I, the podcast where we uncover your alter egos. A bookish Gen Zer by day and a sarcastic stand-up comic by night, I, Corinna, am no stranger to embodying a character if it means I can make vulnerable confessions about my life. I mean, I'd do anything for a laugh. But here, your hidden personalities take center stage as we get to know the real yous. Discover how we can stay true to ourselves with help from our different selves.
This is the first time we are joined by a guest who I have never met, but from what I can tell, she is a classy lady who has seen some shit and lived to tell the tale. With flaming locks of orange hair and cheekbones that could fight off an entire cartel, she can also bring the humor, the athleticism, and the cunt. I feel blessed to be graced by the presence of Ohio's newest yet most versatile drag queen, Miz Hooker. How are you?
I am fabulous, especially after that description. I feel now as a baby queen as though you know me better than I do. Especially if those are my lasting impressions thus far, I'm very excited. That makes me feel seen and heard.
So you're a new queen. Tell us about what it's like to get on the scene. What does that look like? How did you get started and become Miz Hooker?
It's a really scary thing to do, but it's also one of those things that I realized that if I didn't do it, I was going to die. It's an art form that I've always wanted to partake in, and that I always watch going, oh, I think maybe that, not that it looks easy, but that it's something that I could maybe do. And the idea of it being completely self-directed, you're your own choreographer, hair, makeup artist, costume designer, director, actor, like you're everything. You are the medium and the artist at the same time. And that has always enticed me because nobody has to tell you what to do, which is, I think, why queer people like it so much. But yeah, it's kind of scary, especially I'm not from Cleveland. So getting to know people in the drag community is a twofold endeavor, in that I have to get to know them as a person and also as my drag persona. So it's a lot of first impressions. But it's mostly been a lot of fun because, I don't know, the drag community in Cleveland is very rich with alternative drag and a lot of accepting spaces. So, you know, there's room for everyone to whether you're a drag queen or a drag king or a drag thing, which is a term that I love so much, you know, whether you're, you know, whatever end of the spectrum you're on, or if you're just a creature, there's a place to do drag here. So yeah, it's been fun.
I feel like things with drag or with stand-up comedy, it's something that a lot of times people who perform those art forms, they kind of grow up consuming that type of performances. But then there's always something that is kind of like the trigger moment that they're like, okay, finally, I'm going to give this a shot. Do you have a moment for you? Or was it just kind of like, okay, finally, I'm going to take the dive? And it wasn't necessarily one moment that got you into drag.
I think it wasn't necessarily one moment. However, I did look up one day and go, oh, I keep buying wigs. I keep, you know, I'm rhinestoning nails. I can't stop doing my makeup in my little, you know, walk-in closet, which is where I'm in right now, where I keep all my drag. But yeah, I think I just looked around and I was like, I've been kind of collecting. I have this little drag nest that I've been collecting, and there's nothing else to call it but drag because it's all the components were there. And I love dance and I love performance as a kid. And I just thought, you know what, like, fuck it. I have to do this at some point. I miss performing. And it combines all of my favorite things. And it was Pride Month. So Pride Month was coming up. It was the middle of May. And I'd been combing Instagram for open stages. And finally I found one. And I think I just been like, oh, just to see, you know, maybe I'll just go and watch myself. But then I was like, wait, no, I got the itch in that moment. I was like, wait a minute, I can just do this right now. And I have these skills that I've been honing in secret for years. So it felt like it coalesced finally.
That's so efficient because, yeah, with drag, there is a lot of equipment. There's a lot of things that you need to, like you said, organize for yourself. So that's efficient that you were just like, you found yourself slowly acquiring all these aspects / parts for performance. And then all of a sudden when you were ready, you're like, okay, I have everything.
I was going to say, I love efficiency, and that's why I do drag.
What I think is cool about drag is that even if you don't have necessarily all the parts visually, if the something goes wrong with the costume or whatever, it's just really about the attitude and being able to sell it.
Yes, that is something I love. I love aesthetics, and I love realizing where all my references are coming from as I pull a look together. But one thing that I always remind myself is I'm like, okay, you are performing for people. The last thing I want to be is boring. So the look can be everything that it is, but at the end of the day, if your performance, if the actual, like, the way you embody what you're performing does not communicate, then it's not there. So no, there still is that same moment of like, okay, I'm getting up to the mic, like in stand up, I still have to bring it in some sense. But
Okay, so let's say I'm out in the town in Cleveland. I'm like, I stumble into a drag show. I'm like, I want to have some fun. And I see Miz Hooker come onto stage. Who am I seeing? What am I looking at? What am I going to experience?
so you're looking at just a slutty nerd. just what if it's honestly just lateral movement from my own personality, which is, what if the valedictorian was super horny all the time? And the places that I like to pull drag from are, different cartoons that I grew up watching. I love science fiction. I like to have a comedic angle in every, like, in some aspect of whatever, like, number I'm doing. I care very much about my makeup. I've been putting makeup on my face since I was about 9 years old, like stage makeup or otherwise. So that's something that I have a lot of fun with and feel like I'm honing at this point while I do drag. But if you're coming to see Miss Hooker, you're probably going to get a lip sync that is a little weird but funny. Maybe you'll find like a really popular song, but it's going to be intercut with, this weird monologue from, like Silence of the Lambs or something like that. Or maybe it'll be, Professor Farnsworth from Futurama talking about different lengths of wire while a Britney Spears song plays in the background. And then you're also going to see a costume and a wig that are totally original, and not in a way that always looks expensive, but in a way that's definitely intentional and styled by me, because I love to do everything myself. That's half the fun as well of drag.
I love that. Like we're all nerdy about something. There's something that brings out the nerd in us. And I love the idea of just like someone doing drag and then all of a sudden like breaking and explaining the music theory and the chord progression behind whatever song they're lip syncing to.
Yeah, it's the most recent show that I did that I was really proud of. I realized that the theme song of Futurama was the same key as Work Bitch by Britney Spears. And I was like, this is like, I'm not religious, but I'm whatever that is. When I heard, I was like, oh my God, like, light bulb, which is so like, oh my God, that's so desperately nerdy. But I'm like, I'm going to pair it with like some of her original choreography, and my costume's going to have like nipple and butt tassels on it. And I'm going to give you both of those worlds together.
Is there like a particular theme song that Miz Hooker has?
I don't think Miz Hooker has a theme song yet. I think she's too fresh and new. But there's definitely a few tracks that, like, mixes that I've been working on. Some things that I hope in the future to be my song, quote unquote, which is such a, like, oh my God, that's such a baby drag queen thing to say. I haven't even done drag for a year, so I really have no business. But I love Chase Icon and I love Rebecca Black. Those are two artists that definitely inspire me to be the cuntiest I can possibly be. And I've already lip synced to Chase Icon a couple times, so she's fabulous. Check her out. She's ridiculous.
What Rebecca Black songs have you done?
I did Sugar Water Cyanide, and actually in Patrick Tuohy's backyard. His husband is a drag queen. Her name was April May June. She's awesome. So she and I and another drag friend of hers, Vivian Oblivion, which awesome name. April May June, also awesome name. Like, that's so funny. She goes by Q2 for short, like quarter two. Amazing. But anyway, we did like a little pride drag show, and they had a big party in their backyard, and I did Sugar Water Cyanide, and then I cut it with a recording of the Serbian concept artist Maria Abramovic talking about drinking a glass of water. And she's like, this is how you can turn drinking a glass of water into like a 30-minute like spiritual experience. And Rebecca Black is talking about drinking water mixed with sugar and cyanide. So I was like, perfect. And I cut the two of them together, and it was like, yeah, it was everything.
That's why I love the concept of a nerdy drag queen, because it seems like you are kind of like the Reading Rainbow for drag or something, or like Sesame Street, where you got an educational component to it.
Yeah, I can't help myself. The name Miz Hooker it's my government name. My last name is Hooker, and that is absolutely atrocious as a child, but hilarious as an adult. And when I was coming up with drag names and trying to figure out who I was going to be, I didn't think I was going to be Miz Hooker until literally the day that I debuted. And then I was like, you know what? Fuck it. This would be hilarious. I'm just going to go on as Miz Hooker. And also my parents are teachers. And I used to think I was going to want to be a teacher. And I feel like it just has kind of a teacherly ring to it, but the word hooker is just undeniably what it is. So it feels good to get to use that in a funny, tongue-in-cheek stage name kind of way.
And with the orange hair, you could give off like Miss Frizzle vibes from Magic School Bus, another iconic cartoon character who, she had a lot of interesting outfits, and she, I guess, kind of was like in some moments also doing drag.
Oh, yeah. Like femme, lesbian, dom icon for sure.
So you talked about kind of like being a baby, what's the term?
I mean, baby queen, technically, yeah. Anybody who's been doing drag for like less than a year, baby drag performer, whatever, because some people are not queens, but yeah.
Do you feel taken care of? Do you feel nervous? Do you feel like kind of like imposter syndrome?
It's exciting because I'm making first impressions and I want to, show people that I'm here to be, part of the community, the queer community as well as the drag community. And everybody's been so nice. So I've had no instances where I'm like, wow, there's drama backstage. It's always like, we're all here to, have a good time and celebrate each other's super different, wacky forms of drag, which I love. But it really has been kind of scary. Nobody is like teaching me how to do any of this. I don't have a drag mother. I'm a drag, drag orphan. That's probably not PC, but I'm solo dragging it. I feel like that's something I'm okay with taking my time with, because chosen family is like a really serious and important thing. Not serious in like a boring or like sad way, but like serious in a like, queer people don't say chosen family in a way that's super light. I'm okay with it taking a little bit of time, being a beginner in a new subject or area.
Are there moments that you wish you had a drag mother, or just someone where you could turn to ask very specific questions, or you like figuring it out for yourself?
I kind of like figuring it out because I also think there's a lot of different things that inspire me, and people that have inspired me along the way that I kind of pull the support from just mentally. I think about like my chorus and musical teacher, Mrs. Neweson, or my like theater director, Mr. Morozic from high school. I think about a lot of the like iconic, smart, powerful women that I've seen in different TV shows and movies. Like I think about Dana Scully from the X-Files all the time when I think about drag, which is funny because she's not high glam. I also feel supported in the sense that I'm like, okay, I have all these tools that I haven't done anything with, and now I feel like I finally have a place to put all this energy and this like little bits of theater experience. So in a way, it's very empowering to feel self-motivated and self-supported. And then also I have my lovely girlfriend, Eliza, who is my drag stage manager, momager, choreographer, dress rehearsal practice. Like they're so incredible. They watch me do routines. They're like, okay, again, but make sure you balance the energy. They're so like, they nail it. They're so good. They make me feel so supported. So even though I don't have a drag mother proper, or a drag family where people are, teaching me or coaching me in any way, I do feel like I'm welcome. I've been brought into the fold. I don't feel like on the outside or anything when I'm going to these events and trying something new. But yeah, I'm okay with being a little solo for right now. I think it's good. I think it's helping me figure out who I am without looking to others and copying too much at first.
That's also what's kind of fun about art is like you don't necessarily need to have a formal education for whatever kind of, performance you're doing, because if it's something that interested you, even if you're not consuming, straight up drag performances, or you're not just watching stand up, if you have this inkling or this motivation to do that type of performance, you will find connections to whatever you're consuming. You can make these connections to something that has nothing to do with drag or stand up. And then you can say, oh, this is how I'm going to incorporate this into the type of energy and the type of work ethic that I want to have.
Yeah, and I also feel like I've been doing drag my whole life, light, lowercase version. Like I always felt like there were moments where I was just a little too much in some situations, or everything had to be a performance or a narration. And some people in my life liked that about me and some people did not. Yeah, I feel like in a way I've been preparing for this moment my whole life. So it feels like I'm unleashing something, and now that I just get to finally do it.
So when you had your first drag performance, did it feel like you slipped in naturally to that role, or did you realize like, oh, you had a little more anxiety or stage fright than you thought you would, and you kind of had to click yourself in?
I definitely had to click myself in, and not in the sense that I had stage fright, because I think it was more that just I was like, I want to do well. I would always get a little nervous before I would be on stage in any capacity. Like I would be nervous before when I did stand up, or when I did musicals or plays, or when I did radio shows. But it was just a couple seconds. It only took a couple seconds. And I definitely was not as relaxed as I know I can be. But after a little bit of like, oh, okay, nobody here wants me to fail. Everyone's here to see some fun drag. Everyone knows that drag is messy. It was nerve-wracking to feel that performance rush again. But then after a little bit, I was like, ooh, this is really good. It's like I forgot how fun it could be to bring joy and entertain people.
That's one of the differences I feel like between stand-up and drag is with stand-up, usually for you to continue doing stand-up, your first set has to go well. You have to be really strong to bomb the first time and then still continue to do stand-up and have, the courage to go back on stage again. But with drag, I feel like because everyone there is on the same page and it's all about support and just like accepting and loving each other, the audience is very kind and they do a good job of feeding off of your energy. So do you think, one, it is possible to bomb in drag, and two, had you quote unquote bombed in your first performance, you would have continued?
I think I would have continued for sure. And it is possible. I guess it is possible to bomb, but because drag is canonically a messy, challenging art form that when most people do it for the first time, there's something, even if it's just one thing, they look back and go, oh God, girl, what were you thinking? Like, I look back already and I'm like, why didn't I contour my fucking nose? Like, why did I think that wouldn't be important? Why did I only choreograph 30 seconds of it thinking I would just get into it? Because like I did eventually, but it wouldn't not have been good to choreograph a little bit. Yeah, but like you said, a lot of people watching, either they've never done drag and they're terrified to, and they just love to see it and they're happy and they're there to be supportive. Or maybe they have done drag at some point, and so they've also had that first show where a shoe flew off or the wig slipped or they forgot the lyrics to a part of the lip sync. Like everyone has had, from what I've observed and heard, and already from what I've experienced, I had a show where I only had 2 nails left at the end, at the end of my number. And I was like, great, well, now I know what that feels like. So yeah, I think it's a little bit more forgiving. And also the feedback you get when you do stand-up comedy is instant and cuts like a knife. So you know exactly how well you're doing the entire time. And with drag, it's over so fast that it's easier to get back on the horse.
I feel like the messiness is kind of what makes drag, because you do need, it shows like the passion, the energy that's being brought. To me, I'm like, if someone's not losing a nail, then they didn't go hard enough.
Yeah, we want to see that wig. You want to see the wig have to be pulled down a little bit. We want to see, I don't know, we want to see a little bit of the boob padding slip out at some point. Like that's what an open stage is for. It's they're doing a number they've never done. They're trying something out. Maybe the reveal takes 10 extra seconds, but whatever. If you can save it and, still give a little something, people are like, all right, we'll see him again. We'll see her again.
It's time for Grill and Chill, the segment where you, the listener, get to poke our guests with any question you want and let our inner thoughts run wild. Let the grilling commence.
First one is from Kat. Funniest interaction you've had while you're in character with a crowd member?
I don't know. It's still early. Oh, I do remember, maybe it isn't super funny, but it was very meaningful. I was doing drag as a femme version of an anime character that I love. His name is Nanami Kento. He's from Jujutsu Kaisen. I'm obsessed with him. I want to be him, and he's also my husband. And I was so excited to do this number, and I was like, okay, no one's going to know who you're doing, because the theme of the open stage was blonde. And he is blonde, but like that's not the direction other people were going to go in. And I was like, that's fine. So I was like, whatever, I'm going to know, but not everyone else will know. And that's fine. It's for me. And one person that night was like, oh my God, I love your Nanami drag. And she like kind of pulled me, and I was like, are you serious? And she was like, yes. And I was like, then this is literally just for you. And at one point in the performance, like she was giving me $1 and I was like giving her a little bit extra energy because I was so excited. But I think that was a fun interaction. And then, I don't know, I haven't had any super funny interactions yet because I think I'm not as seasoned. I haven't, experienced the whole gamut of what a crowd can be like.
Obviously, anime is so popular because I have a joke about, I make some anime references. I tell all these jokes and then people look so bored during that anime stuff. And I'm like, we're in Los Angeles. I thought everyone out here watched anime. And then all of a sudden, like someone afterwards will come up to me and they're like, oh, that One Punch Man joke. I'm like, finally, like I'm catering to you guys.
It's because no one wants to admit that they are super, super nerding out or that they have characters that they're gooning over. Nobody wants to be the one to, because then you have to make your voice louder. You'd be like, yeah! And then everyone's like, it's you. And that's Miz Hooker. Miz Hooker is like, I'm not afraid to admit that I'm a huge fucking nerd. And if this bit fails for everybody else, but lands for 3 people, great. Because I'm done keeping it in, basically.
Joe wants to know, what is an aspect of the drag community that you think would surprise people?
I think something that has not like shocked, but surprised me in a pleasantly surprised way that I was just delighted to find is what, I don't know, the wide spectrum of gender that drag can mean. And that there are a lot of people who are doing drag and are like, I'm a drag queen or I'm a drag king, who I think the layperson would look at them and not consider that person to be a conventionally attired or expressive kind of drag king or drag queen. And I think especially once you scratch a little bit below the surface into like alternative drag community, there are all kinds of fabulous artistic creative people who are showing us that drag is not performing gender in a really perfect, ideal way. Drag is showing us that gender is something we all perform at some point, and we all put it on at one point or another. And they're all just putting the drag on, the gender performance on, in different combinations of ways that we might not have thought about. Yeah, some of my favorite drag kings that I have come to like watch and love and learn about in the Northeast Ohio area, like, wear pink and sparkles and have boobs. And, you know, there are plenty of drag things that I, you know, have met who are like, I'm not a drag king or a drag queen. I'm a creature. I'm a drag monster. And not feeling the need to be defined by anything, you know, explicit or binary within drag.
Do you think alternative drag is becoming slowly more visible, or do you think it still kind of takes the person to have to do the quote unquote research and like scratch under the surface, like you were saying?
I think it's becoming more popular for sure, especially because drag in general has just become more popular. And I think also in a kind of counterculture kind of way, people are saying, hey, the way that we can, you know, resist fascism, one of the ways we can resist fascism is by making queer art and making subversive and alternative art anyway, even though nobody wants us to. Yeah, so I think that because of that, drag has just become more popular. And, you know, when something becomes mainstream, maybe the most socially acceptable or easily understandable and accessible forms of it will become popular first. But with that, it paves the way for all other types of the art form as well. So I definitely think it's becoming more popular. And I would say some of the more popular drag queens in Cleveland are, I think, what people would call quote unquote alternative drag queens, where they're not doing old school pageant and glamour. Just everyone should do drag. Everyone who wants to do drag should get in drag. The more people that are in an art form, the more people that we're going to push each other to, you know, discover who we are and hone your craft and become, you know, more in touch with your artist's voice. I think more people that do drag makes all drag better and more interesting, because you have to search for, you know, who you are as a drag persona.
I mean, I guess that speaks to the quote unquote spectrum, the alternative drag that you were talking about, because it's like with any art form, but especially I feel like with drag, it is what you make of it. And so there's not this one image of what it should look like. As long as it's authentic to you and it's something, you're expressing yourself the way you want to, then, you know, you don't have to compare yourself to a model.
No, certainly not. And like early drag queens were, you know, counterculture community figures who were expressing themselves and bringing the queer community together and creating their art, despite the fact that it was completely dangerous to do so. So I think the least we can do is keep it going.
And then Joe has another question. Is there an aspect of drag that you think more people should incorporate into their fashion?
Butt pads. No, I'm just kidding. Huge boobies with padded bras. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I think a sense of humor. I think having a little bit of self-awareness and a little bit of a sense of humor about your personal style can help add some whimsy and some little unexpected pops to your sartorial choices that just makes getting dressed a little bit more fun.
Miz Hooker, you are a very special guest because you are not only the first guest that I have not met before, but you are also the first guest where we're going to do both of my signature segments on Me, Myself, and I. It's time for Corinna's Reading Corner. What was my read of my guests when I first met them? Do their pages match the cover? We're doing Corinna's Reading Corner Drag Edition. If you want to explain what reading is in drag and then read me, I would love nothing more than that, because I love self-deprecation.
Drag is self-deprecation, so you're in the right place. You don't get up on stage in a $18 wig without understanding a little bit that it's going to be self-deprecating. You have to be really close with somebody to read one. And I'm not close with a lot of drag queens yet. So absolutely, I am not reading, nor am I being read. And if you don't know them, it's just mean. You know, you can tell them what's going on about them and still keep it cute, but kind of give them a little bit of attitude. So it's reading because you're reading them like a book. You're looking at what's in front of you or what has just occurred, and you are reading a little flaw or something that they did wrong, or you're kind of hanging their dirty laundry out a little bit, I guess. But I can totally read you if you want, because I have listened to some episodes of your podcast, Corinna, and I heard you talking about how you were not really a party girl in college, and how, the pregame, we wouldn't make it past the pregame. It was just, we were just, that was the pregame was the game and everything. I just want to know if that was after the first time that I bought you alcohol, or the third, fourth, or fifth time, or was it after, I don't know, the second time I bought you weed, or which time was it that you that you weren't really a party girl?
Yeah, those were all for the pregame.
Okay, so a little yes and no, a little column A, a little column B, I guess. But that cracked me up.
Well, Ms. Hooker, I am a teacher and I want to educate people, and then you're bringing alcohol to an underage person on a college campus.
Read to filth. And then you read the person back, and then that's love. That's tough love. That's community. That's mutual aid.
I felt closer to you in that moment, Ms. Hooker.
Yes, class is in session.
Felt like I learned so much from you, Miz Hooker, today. So thank you so much for joining me. Do you have any last words of wisdom you want to impart?
No wisdom. Ms. Hooker is devoid of wisdom right now. Ms. Hooker is only book smart. I don't have experience to be wise. I just have a head full of ideas and sluttiness, and I just cannot wait to share it with anybody who will give me $1 single.
Well, Ms. Hooker, if there's anything that I took away from our conversation, it's that you can really find connections and learn from anything in your daily life and apply that to whatever your creative outlet is. What art to me is not sticking to one protocol or one defined style. There is no quote unquote alternative art. It's really about being true to yourself and representing your story. So thank you for reminding me of that. And for also reminding me that I was probably an alcoholic in college and maybe I did like to party.
Hey, thanks for joining me, myself, and I for a terrific episode. I hope you had as much fun as I did and even made a friend or two. If you want to stay up to date on future episodes and laugh even more, follow me on Instagram at CORINNAYEET. Talk to you and your other self soon.